Hello and welcome to another C3 Stingray video. You ever had that chirping sound? I've been having that chirping sound for like 3 months on this 2000 Corvette and it's been driving me crazy, and today I finally decided to tackle it, and I had a whole list of things I was going to go through to figure out what it was. This turned out to be something easy, but I'll give you examples of other things it could be if it isn't this. But this will show you how to change both of your belts on the front of the car, which is kind of a pain in the butt, and this is way more detailed than my previous one. If you saw my AC, when I changed the AC compressor in this, I put brand new belts on it then, which I think was about 2 years ago. And well, we'll just get into it. And oh yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. You can use all the subscriptions I can get on this channel. Plus, make sure you like, hit notifications, share, all that other crap. And let's just get into the video. Now I'm running the engine and you can hear the chirping, but you really have to listen to hear the chirping. I don't know why it's so quiet in this recording when it's like super loud when you're standing by the car. Now I used a serpentine belt tool that I got from Harbor Freight. Now you can use a regular 15mm wrench, but I really like this tool because it gives you a lot of leverage and it makes it really easy to push the tensioner. This is where the first tensioner is to take off the top belt. So I'm using the socket on the serpentine belt and pushing that forward, and that loosens the belt. Then I slipped it off the water pump and then just worked it off the rest of the pulleys around the car. Now I'm on the other side, taking it off the alternator, underneath the power steering, and off the idler. Right there is where you need to twist the belt to get it out of there, because you can't get it out of there flat. You have to twist it sideways to slip it out of there. There's not a whole lot of room to work here, but you can get it out just by working it. We're running the car now without the belt on. It's safe to do this if you do it for a short period of time, and as you can see, without the belt on, it's no longer making the chirping sound. But I bought both belts, so here's the bottom belt. I'm going to just go ahead and replace that, even though we know the problem isn't there. I got the belt, so I'm going to replace it. And that goes around your AC compressor and your crankshaft. I'm using an open-end wrench on that serpentine belt tool, and got to get down there on the tensioner on the bottom and push it forward to loosen this belt. Right there is the tensioner. I want to push that forward. And this belt's pretty easy to get off. You just gotta work it off the crankshaft and then off the compressor and pull it on out. Now when I released that tensioner, the wrench was kind of stuck there, so I just left it there because I'm gonna have to use it again in a minute anyway. So I just left it in there and pulled the belt right out of it. We're putting that belt on, and when you put it on, the best way to do it is to put it around the crankshaft and the compressor. Then push your tensioner forward and then work the belt down underneath this idler pulley. This is the easiest and quickest way to do this. Push it down there underneath that top idler pulley. Here I am underneath the car, you can see it. I always double check to make sure that it's where it's supposed to be. Especially in that crankshaft, it's really easy not to get it in the groove. Now we're working that top belt in, and that goes over the alternator, underneath the power steering, over the idler, underneath the crankshaft, over the tensioner, underneath the water pump, and then back around the alternator. It's really tight to work in there, as we already got it over the alternator on that side. I got it fed down. Now I'm on the other side of the car trying to get it around that crankshaft, which is the toughest part because you can't really see, you're just feeling it. That's why I jack the car up and I slide underneath and double check it all the time. Here I am underneath the car, and you can see it's seated in there really good. So when you put this on, put it around everything except for the water pump. You do the water pump last. Get it around everything, push your tensioner forward, and then slip that belt down by the water pump, because that's the slickest and easiest spot to get it down. because it fits really tight. And as you see right now, I'm pushing it under the water pump, and I kind of fell off that tensioner on top, but I had to work that in with my hand. But while you still have it pushed forward, you can get it back in the spot. You just want to make sure it's seated everywhere, and kind of double check everything once you get it on to make sure it's in where it needs to be, because if it's not in, you crank the engine up, it's just going to rip that belt to shreds. As you can see, we're on the alternator, underneath that power steering. I checked underneath the car. I'm on the crankshaft good, and now we're running the car, and guess what? There's no chirping sound. So that means the belt was the problem, which is really a good thing. So when we took that top belt off, the chirping sound stopped. So we know that the problem is in whatever that belt was touching. Now, we got lucky and it turned out to be the belt itself, but it could have been the tensioner or idler pulley, which are common things to go out and make noise. But it also could have been the water pump, the alternator, the power steering. But I think with those items, you should be able to hear that noise directly from the item. I mean, if you're listening, you get a stethoscope or something and listen, you can usually hear that noise directly from that individual part. But it also goes around the crankshaft pulley, and that crankshaft pulley is known to go bad on the C5 Corvettes. Usually there's some wobbling going on or a more metallic sound, but there's been known to do a chirping sound too. If you took off the bottom belt and the chirping sound stopped, you once again have a tensioner and idler pulley down there that might need to be changed. Or it could be your AC compressor, but like I said before, I think you'd be able to hear that directly from the part, and it should be easy to detect. But then again, it's going around that crankshaft again, so that could be the problem. And hopefully that's not the problem, because that's a much bigger job than any of the other items. As I said, I put these belts on from Napa like 2 years ago, and here's the belt that I put on, which I guess 2 years isn't bad, but it looked like a good belt still, so I'm not sure why I was chirping. I ended up buying these AC Delco belts off of Amazon. You can see the prices on these. They're kind of expensive, so I think they're going to work out much better though. Well, there you have it. This ended up being a video about changing belts more than anything else, but I really thought I was going to have to replace the tensioner pulley, and that's what I really thought it was going to be. I'm really shocked that it was the belts, because you saw the belts. The belts look like they're in fine shape, but they came from Napa. And I found that anything I buy from AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Napa, and it's all junk. Well, I mean, that lasted longer than most of the crap I buy at these places. And if you just go online, I mean, go to Amazon, look for AC Delco stuff that you need, and just see if it's available and how much it is, because a lot of times it's the same price, if not cheaper, than the crap you buy at AutoZone. So to me, it's worth, being delayed a few days to get a good part than it is to buy some cheap part immediately and then have to replace it again a few months later. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, you can also get parts at my website at c3stingray.com. I got a lot of used parts for C3, C4, and C5 Corvettes, and I got some new parts too for like my headlights. I got videos on rebuilding your headlights, motors, and brakes, and just check the website out. There's all kinds of crap on there. And I'm going to be doing more videos, a couple more videos on this C5. I got videos coming up on the C3s. I got toy videos. I got some interesting toy videos, Corvette toys. And I also got some movie reviews and some games and just all kinds of stuff. I got everything but the time to do it all. But it's happening. It's picking up now. I'm going to start doing it. I'm really focusing on making more videos, and I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button and the like button and the share button, and I guess that is it. I'm out of here. I'll see you on the road.